The reason your content isn't performing well has nothing to do with the algorithm. Probably. Let me explain. You see, the reality of it is the algorithm as you probably know it is not real. What is real, however, are the 5 main algorithms used by Instagram to decide what content they are going to show to who. So if you don't know, there's stories, reels, feed, explore, and even a search algorithm. So if you're not seeing the results on Instagram that you want to, there are multiple things that could be contributing to that. And honestly, the fact of the matter is, it's easier to blame the platform or say you got shadow banned. By the way, if you don't know what shadow bans are, basically it's when a platform seemingly without warning kind of mutes your page or your channel, which leads to a sudden drastic decrease in reach and engagement. But yes, it's easier to blame that than it is to honestly look inward and at the data to see why your stuff's not getting pushed out. Okay, wait, before you get upset, I'm not saying that you're not trying hard enough. Not at all. I understand the frustration 110%. I get it. But just think of it like this, right? Every platform and all of their algorithms all pretty much share one common goal, which is to keep the users on that platform for as long and as often as possible. So their job isn't to push content for the creators, it's to pull content for the users. So today specifically, we're going to be looking at Reels since that is kind of the biggest thing in the world right now, and look at what you may be doing that is actively hurting your reach before we jump on the shadow band wagon. Get it? Like bandwagon, but like shadow band? You know, no, I'm not doing it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is interpret our analytics. So you get there by going to your post and then clicking view insights. So there's a lot to unpack here and I don't want to overload you. So for now, all we're going to do is go in there and scroll down until we see the section that says audience retention. If you don't know what audience retention is, basically it just means how much of your reel that people watch. So this tool is going to be like your best friend because this allows you to break down second by second how many people stayed or how many people stopped watching your reels. So the key things we're going to be looking for here are the first 3 seconds and any major drops. So this is going to let us know if our hook or the first 3 seconds was good enough to keep people watching. And then we're looking for any drops because that'll show us any moment where we started to lose people. As a video creator myself, this is my favorite tool because it doesn't lie. It literally can't lie. It shows you exactly when and why you lost viewers. Next, we're going to scroll down to interactions. Now this part isn't exclusively for Reels. This applies to photos, carousels, and you can even tie this into your stories. So listed out here, we're going to see likes, shares, saves, and comments. Now, how you interpret these is kind of up to you, but I like to break it down like this. Your likes will reflect how good or bad the idea is. Your comments will reflect how much emotion you were able to trigger in your audience. Your shares will reflect how relatable that content is, and your saves should reflect how much value you did or did not give your viewer. And like I said before as well, for Reels, your retention should reflect how strong your hook is and what you can improve upon in your delivery. So from there, we need to look at what we can improve on. Now, I have watched hundreds of thousands of Reels, and the biggest common trend I saw is that they all follow a very similar formula. So they start with a hook, they build tension, they give you a payoff, and that's it. That's the winning formula. But we can actually break that down even further. So for the hook, keep in mind that curiosity is king. Remember, we're in the business of buying and selling attention. So instead of saying something like the 10 things I did every day for 6 months to grow my online presence and start making money, and also I have a course link in my bio, please buy it, it's really valuable, please, you can distill that down to something like how I grew from 0 to 10,000 followers in 6 months. The best hooks I've ever seen felt effortless. They were just simple and engaging. So then we build tension. So give your information away little by little. You could use a countdown timer. In the world of storytelling, this is called your rising action. And the main goal here is, assuming you had a good hook, you keep their attention. So if you post like an informative reel, right? But you give all the information away 4 seconds into a 15-second clip, guess who isn't going to watch the remaining 11 seconds? And then guess what content isn't going to get pushed because it's got a really bad retention rate? And then there is the payoff. Now, this needs to feel like a wave of relief. It needs to be satisfying, and all the questions that you left unanswered have now been answered. So here's an example. There's the hook. Here's the truth about how David Beckham became a multimillionaire. And my phone died. All right, hold on. So there's the hook, right? Here is how David Beckham became a multimillionaire and the secret that he used that you can use. That's the hook.
Early in David Beckham's career, he played for Real Madrid, where his salary was $20 million. But then he left them for a small club in Los Angeles that paid him $6 million a year.
So that's tension, right? Okay, I get it. He made a lot of money, but then he left to make significantly less money. How did that make him more money, right? There's tension there. So that's the justification for you to keep watching.
See, you may be wondering why he would take such a pay cut, but Beckham was playing the long game and positioning himself for something greater.
So that's what's called a pattern shift, right? So you get this little bit of payoff, you think you get the full understanding, and then, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, so that kind of pulls you back in, that introduces more tension, which gives more justification as to why you should keep watching the video.
So fast forward to when he retired, he leveraged that money and acquired Inter Miami Club for $25 million. And now he has transformed the soccer club into being worth $1 billion.
And then it cuts off, but shows that playing the long game is the way to do it, right? So we break it down. The hook, here's how he made this money and how you can do it too. The tension was he made a lot of money. He took an offer making less money. What the heck? Why would he do that? Okay, slight payoff, slight dopamine hit. Because he did that, he ended up making this much money. Justification. Then we're going to come back and build more tension with, but also I forgot to tell you this. And then the payoff is now, because of all of these things and because he understood that playing the long game was important, he's worth this. And by the end of it, you get the answer to the question you had at the beginning, which is how did David Beckham get this much money? And then once you've gone through all of that, that's it. Just end the video on a high note, end it on that dopamine hit, and then people will associate your content with that good feeling. The feeling that they learned something new or they felt good when they watched your videos. When they end it on that, that's what they will associate you with. You want to see something really interesting? Take a look at this feed. What do we see here? Extreme sports, adrenaline rushes, cool people doing cool things, I guess, right? You want to know what page this is? This is Red Bull, but there's not a single can of Red Bull in sight. This is by design because they understand that their page is not necessarily about their product, but the feelings and actions that are associated with it. And they took that feeling and baked it into all of their content. Any video on this page you click is an adrenaline rush, something that is equal parts the coolest and the scariest thing you have ever seen. So let's take this video for example, right? We'll break another one down. The hook, how terrifying is that? I'm afraid of heights. This sent shivers down my spine, but also I want to see what happens next. I want to see if he makes it down. So there's your hook. Here's the tension. He starts going down. Terrifying. Payoff. He makes it down, falls off, but he makes it down safe. You get this rush of like, oh, okay, good, he made it, right? So that's how Red Bull does it. So take this process, implement it to your reels. I would say try at least 5 using this method. And again, the method is hook, tension, payoff, and just see if you get an increase in your reach. But also keep in mind what I said earlier about the different algorithms that we have to deal with. And if that sounds like a lot to you, well, you kind of only have 2 options. Option A is to have someone else manage some or all of those tiny moving parts for you. So this is like hiring a social media manager, in-house photographer, graphic designer, things like that. Or alternatively, you could hire LYFE Marketing to manage it all for you. Option B, on the other hand, is to start implementing all of this newfound knowledge into your content and then watch this video right here, because in this video I break down a ton of other things that may be hurting your reach and what you can do about it.